Hello and welcome to Property by Kalkine. I'm Dean Mitchell, and today we are pleased to have Michelle Stevens, who is a Rank My Agent Top 10 finalist from 2020 and part of the team at OBrien Real Estate in Carrum Downs, Victoria, which have a range of services, including conveyancing and investment solutions. Michelle, good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's begin by talking about the Housing Industry Association's latest home sales report, reported by Buoyant New Home Sales in early 2021. How is OBrien harnessing the benefit of burgeoning home sales trends?
So look, obviously the market is crazy at the moment. So really, it's a matter of kind of really working your database and everything like that. It's amazing that when you're in a tight market, buyers don't want to know you. And when you're in a obviously very buoyant market, they're loving the blast outs of the new listings and the off market opportunities and things like that as well. So we've got an off market section on the OBrien website as well. So it's a different form. So obviously, to go on the extra portals, it is quite expensive and everything. So we've got the off-market options as well.
That's brilliant. And what are some of the critical hiccups that home sellers face now, and how does OBrien help in overcoming the same?
Yeah, so I think at the moment, obviously a lot of home sellers, their massive, concern is if we sell, yes, we can get some good money for our property, but what are we going to buy? Are we going to be able to secure something and everything like that? At OBrien, we are a cross-selling network, so it does aid our vendors, really well in a sense that if they're, selling in Carrum Downs or Skye or Sandhurst and they're wanting to move beachside, we do have different offices that I can say, well, look, we've got, these three properties that have been listed by our Chelsea office that are 3 to 4 weeks away. So it gives them a little bit of confidence knowing that they're kind of going to be first in the door and everything like that as well, that they're being told about upcoming opportunities. So I think the cross-selling network does work really well for our vendors.
And despite COVID-19 headwinds, OBrien managed to achieve an 82.5% auction clearance rate in 2020. In fact, the company actually achieved a 91% auction clearance rate last month. How has OBrien been able to maintain such strong auction clearance rates?
Look, I think it's being able to have good conversations with your owners and everything like that, being able to as well assist people to get their property ready for sale. I like to provide a service for my clients in a sense that if it's organising carpet and paint and garden maintenance and staging and all that kind of thing, just to make sure their property looks as good as possible, and we do take it to the market. Definitely the property of choice. So I think it's that kind of service in a sense that we want to provide to our clients, to make sure their property, as I said, looks as good as possible. It's building relationships with your clients as well, in a sense that it's working those buyers, it's having good conversation to make sure we can put them in the best possible place to be able to have a successful auction.
And I guess that does actually lead into my next question about supporting home buyers, because it is such a process and it can be very daunting. I know from friends and family that have done it. So what personal touches do you and your colleagues in your office support buyers in choosing their dream homes?
Okay, so with myself, I do have a team that work with me. So I list, I sell, and I negotiate. But I have someone that does all my marketing and gets the properties ready for sale. So they're in a position for sell them. I'm the one that nurtures my vendors and looks after that. But then I've also got a different element of my business in a sense that I have buyers agents as well. So if I've got a vendor that we've just sold their house, we know the suburbs they're looking at. It's okay, perfect. We'll pass that on to Lenny, for example. He can go, what's your requirements? What have you got, etc. So at least then it's not just kind of sell your house, see you later next. It's really wanting to be able to provide a service from right from listing your property, getting it ready, to selling it, to the after service as well, of being able to try and transition them into a new property as well.
So it's really an end-to-end service that you provide.
Yeah, I want A1 service. So at the end of the day, majority of my business does come from referrals, and it's being able to really look after your clients and look after their needs as well, not only for securing a really good price for their property, but helping them onto their next journey as well with the purchasing side as well.
And Michelle, can you shed some light on the factors driving investment in property space?
So driving investment properties. So look, obviously, I think the hard thing as well at the moment is, the market just seems like it's going up and up and up. I've got a lot of people that are, obviously wanting to secure the investment properties and everything. They're wanting to secure good investment properties too with the new legislation that's just coming to Victoria at the start of March. So we've got people that, they are wanting to get that good investment. So something that's not too old, something that doesn't need, work done on it, because obviously we've got all the different criteria and everything like that. So I think, your good products are something that people are definitely wanting to secure as an investment, so they can, get a good quality tenant as well and get a good rental return.
Absolutely. And so with the house prices rising in almost every corner of Australia, the cost of renting a house in Australia has reached its record levels. What is your take on that?
Look, obviously everyone always needs, kind of a roof over their head, in a sense. So you've got a lot of people that I think with COVID as well, it's given people a massive kind of wake up with kind of going, okay, if I'm limited to my 5Ks, where do I want to spend my time? So we've got a lot of people that are making lifestyle changes at the moment. So whether it's towards the beach, whether it's doing country changes, whether it's moving interstate, etc. We've got a lot of people that are wanting to move, whether it is buying or whether it is renting. Your rentals are, also very, high demand. I've got owners going, I need you as a rental reference, because it is just so competitive out there at the moment. Not only in the sales market, but also in the rental market.
And obviously with everything skyrocketing at the moment, fixed mortgage rates are at record lows. Do you think it is an excellent time to consider buying a new home? And what are your suggestions for our viewers?
Look, at the end of the day, it's obviously bricks and mortar. It's, it's land, etc. Yes, you sit there and go, oh, I should have bought, 12 months ago, because yes, the market was 15% lower in some areas, or, even more. But at the end of the day, you also don't want to kick yourself in a sense of going, I should have bought 6 months ago. So look, at the end of the day, I think it's always, really good to always invest in the property market, because at the end of the day, yes, it will, it will have its ups, it will have its downs, but you always do see that trend of it going up. So yeah, I definitely recommend to, borrowing's cheap at the end of the day. Interest rates are all-time lows, etc. So it is definitely a really good time to be trying to secure something in the property market.
And COVID, do you think that has changed the renting versus buying game in Australia?
Well, yeah, look, I think it's a little bit of security and everything like that as well, where I'm finding, even like I've got a lot of, I'm in an entry point area. So a lot of first home buyers, I'm finding a lot of even younger first home buyers at the moment, they're definitely jumping into the market, where normally, they travel and they do, the overseas trips and the Kentuckys and, spending 20 grand on holidays, etc. But they're going, okay, well, I can't travel, I may as well sell and put it into a house. So I've actually got a lot of people that normally do purchase later on in life that are jumping into the property market. So yeah.
And do you think the Australian property market bubble will pop anytime soon? And how can our viewers gear up for the potential uncertainties in the property market?
Look, at the end of the day, it's you only, even if the market does burst at some stage, you're only losing if you're selling. So yes, it might come back, but you've just got to kind of ride the wave in a sense. What goes up must come down, what comes down must go up again. So it's always going to happen. Yes, a good market can't last forever. It will. It will slow down at some stage. But what I'm saying to people at the moment is, it's not, if it was just Victoria that was booming, we could sit there and go, okay, well, look, the downturn or the slowdown might happen sooner rather than later. But the fact that it's, as you mentioned before, it's every single part of Australia that, is going extremely well. I can't see it changing anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. And on a soft note to finish on, you were, as mentioned, a finalist in the Rate My Agent Awards. That must have been... Sorry, what was that?
I won that one, the Rate My Agent of Victoria.
Incredible. Congratulations. How has that changed your business? And obviously it's an incredible achievement as well.
Yeah, look, obviously, it gives people, confidence and everything like that as well. If I can say, I was, OBrien's Real Estate's #1 agent for the last 4 years, the REIV, so Real Estate Institute of Victoria, the Residential Salesperson of the Year for 2019 and 2020, and the Rate My Agent of the Year for Victoria for 2021. It gives, obviously people confidence as well. It's, it's not like, just got into the industry because it's a booming market. And it's like, trust your biggest asset in my hands. Obviously,
Yep.
You've got experience and everything. And if with a rate, with something like Rate My Agent, it's people actually, rating you. I always say that if you're going to go have dinner, you're going to read reviews and things like that. And if you're going to be selling your biggest asset, you want to be entrusting that into someone's hands that's got the reviews and everything like that behind them, backing them up from what they're saying.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your insights. And you can find Michelle at OBrien Real Estate in Carrum Downs in Victoria. And with that, I'm Dee Mitchell. You have been watching Property by Kalkine. Please stay with us.